Yes Have Some podcast is excited to tell our listeners about Dr. Pepper and the brand new collectible cans from Spider-Man Far From Home. Collectors, it's time to make that decision. Are you going to drink these Dr. Peppers or are you going to leave them mint in package? Either way, you got to collect all 5 cans available now, including the new limited time flavor Dr. Pepper Dark Berry, featuring Mysterio. Get your hands on all 5 of the new Spider-Man Far From Home cans from Dr. Pepper, available at Walmart.
Jurassic Park, now playing the PS7.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Bomber, Neutron Blaster, and Water Zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central, all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some podcast.
You like? Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 149 of Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Thank you so much for joining us. And wow, thank you to all of the new members of Yes Have Some Group Therapy because I feel like it's growing.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah.
I even started approving some members, and I don't like doing that.
What?
Yeah, I approved somebody.
Yeah, usually it's like Jake
Just don't do it again, all right?
kind of take care of that.
It's fine this time, but you know.
I won't let it happen again. Before we get going, I have to introduce my co-hosts, or I think we're all hosts. I don't know what we do here. Abigail Gardner.
Yo, what's up, y'all?
Jacob Walsh.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, thank God. I'm starting to get anxiety about that part now that I know
Always do.
everybody hates it so much.
I need a meditation to do before our podcast that helps me greet the audience. That would help me a lot.
The meditation's like, you must say hello.
Must say hello. They're just your friends.
Welcome, everybody. So before we hit the old record button there, Jake, you were filling us in on some information, some breaking news.
I was.
Yeah.
We have Bloody Disgusting is reporting a I guess this was posted as, is this a tweet? What's people still use Twitter?
Yeah.
They Child's Play has posted a like 10-second video that is just kind of like a still of the trailer. It's like a motion thing of the trailer, but you get to hear a tiny bit of Mark Hamill's Chucky laugh in it.
Do you think we could hear that? Could we?
Let's listen. Let's listen to it.
Can we provide that to the audience?
Yeah.
We can do that. All right, here
Together?
we go.
Can we listen?
Yeah, so it's the Joker.
That's the Joker.
That just sounds like, does that not just sound, that sounds like they just got an episode of Batman the Animated Series and just cut his laugh out.
But wait, I'm not
Hey, you know
mad
what?
about it.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
I'm down for that.
Dude, yeah. Like, you know what you're getting with Mark Hamill. He's not going to whip something new out. But I like it. I wouldn't mind if he did, but
What if he was
I'm
just
into
like,
that.
Chewie, what are you doing here?
Dude, he throws the old hat or the old guard out just like the old lightsaber.
Oh, yeah.
All new.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
He throws the old kitchen
Curse.
knife.
Whatever the fuck it is.
He throws a DVD copy of The Seed of Chucky down the hill.
I hope so.
Good.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for that. I think we're all pretty excited for Child's Play. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but there was that new Child's Play poster that was just like Woody from Toy Story, but he was dead and there was blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very funny. Yeah. I love it too. I wonder what Disney's like, what they're kind of, I know they don't, I know that no part of them is thinking that like Child's Play is going to hurt their, opening numbers or anything like
It's
that.
gonna
But
bomb.
I wonder if that kind of stuff annoys them or if they're just like, oh, well, that's funny.
I hope they think it's funny because it is. And also, it's not like it actually is Andy. It's whatever their version.
Well, it's interesting because so the kid in both movies is named Andy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, who am I talking about? Woody, rather. Sorry.
You meant Woody.
I
Yeah.
meant Woody, I
but-
said Andy.
But Andy's written on the bottom of his shoe because it's Andy's toy, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think that Chucky has Andy written on the bottom of his shoe in this movie?
I hope so.
Oh, I do too. I like it.
Dude, I'm thinking about
That'd be
getting
funny.
a tattoo of the name Andy on the bottom of my foot.
Yeah, that'd be the most painful thing ever.
Yeah, but
I
if you're a
dropped
real
my
fan.
phone. Guys, I literally don't know what to say next. I've dropped the rundown. Somebody say something while I pick it
Wait.
up.
I'm finding the rundown.
I wish that something like that happened more often. That Craig just like, it's almost like you're a robot and all of a sudden you just get wiped clean.
Yeah.
And you're talking and then you're just like, you don't know what to do.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
Anyways.
So Jake and I do our own thing.
I'm just like, tonight we're talking about the movie Star Wars starring Mark Hamill.
All right.
Okay, cool. Well, we got a lot to cover, so let me give the rundown to everybody. Tonight, we're going to be doing a classic YHS fuck budget. I feel like it's been a while. We'll probably talk a little bit about, I don't know, Spider-Man Far From Home. And maybe a couple other fun things, some trailers that came out. And then a little bit later in the show, we are going to have our full rundown of the new trailer for It Chapter 2. Which comes out this fall. I know we're all excited about that.
Yeah.
At the time of the recording, this beginning of this podcast, it's not out yet. The trailer's not out yet, but we're going to wait to release this episode until we've seen the trailer and properly reviewed it, because I did not want to wait a week. Abby, did you want to wait a week?
No, I've learned my lesson with waiting to see movies like past opening night. It sucks. So when it comes to trailers, like I want to talk about them fresh. It's like it would be perfect if we could do like a live review at some point, but it's really good to have it fresh in your mind, like right after you've seen it. So let's record at noon tomorrow as soon as it drops.
Yeah. And Jake, what's your anticipation for It Chapter 2? I know you like that clown movie.
It's a good, yeah, I like it. I'm excited to kind of see what other things we might be getting from the second half of the book. I'm excited to see if we're gonna get any Black Spot stuff or if we're gonna get any of the Adrian Mellon scene in the trailer. We know that they filmed that, but that's the kind of stuff I'm excited about. Like seeing. That that's whenever the first trailer came out, that was the thing where I'm like, oh, that was the leper, or that looked like this part of the book. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm super excited about.
Word. I want to put the movie, the first chapter in like tonight if I can, because honestly, it's been a while since I've watched it. I kind of want to get prepared.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Craig, are you gonna try to read it before tomorrow?
I might read the DVD cover.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just a little synopsis. Guys, I don't know if you knew. That book is long. What did I say the other day? I do this thing where I change people's names for my own amusement. And I was like, I want to watch that old It with Fred Curry.
Fred Curry.
Freddie Curry?
But just you own it. If you just state it like that's fact.
Then you make the other person question if they're wrong.
It's like, oh, God. Dude, I love Ghostbusters 2. Plus that song with Billy Brown, the one he did. It's great.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Love old Billy.
well, cool. So we'll get into that fuck budget here in a little bit. Wanted to talk a little bit about Ghostbusters Fan Fest because as of today, we are 30 days away, which seems...
I had to Google that today when I can't believe it myself.
So let's talk about the positives here. Okay, so Ghostbusters Fan Fest was announced about a year ago. We are now 1 month away from Fan Fest, which means, wait, is that right? Holy shit! Which means we're flying out to LA in like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, every time Craig sees a plane,
I'm not ready.
We live by the airport. Craig's like, "That's gonna be us soon.
That's gonna be us on that plane.
It's gonna be us on that plane soon."
Yeah, I get really excited. Listen, we're gonna be out there. We got a lot of big plans. I do want to let everybody know this week on the Ghostbusters Interdimensional Crossrip podcast, our good friends Troy and Chris did a little breakdown of a lot of the cool stuff that you can do and see in LA and Culver City. Lots of good tips, good restaurants, cool shops and stores to check out, and really good advice for like traveling as far as like, what time is good to get into the airport to get like a shuttle or your rental car and all sorts of good stuff. Troy's local to the LA area. So definitely worth checking that out because, listen, I don't know if our listeners know this, but we as a unit collectively become very stressed all of the time. And travel could be stressful.
I'm stressed right now.
Airport is stressful with the YHS crew. I can tell you that.
We're getting shirts that say on the back of my shirt, it's going to say, "If lost, please return to Craig and Jake." And then Jake's going to have an "I am Jake" shirt, and Craig's going to have an "I am Craig" shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm going to also have to use handcuffs to attach my luggage to myself because I don't know how.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
We're gonna have to.
I'm going to try to figure out who the air marshal is.
Yeah.
That seems like a good idea. That seems like that.
Sounds fun.
Anytime that happens in a movie or show, it's something good's happening.
Yeah. For sure.
So FanFest is coming up. We definitely want to make a point to say hi to all of our listeners who are going out there. We want to hang out and see you. There's going to be some meetups.
Dude, let's have a hotel party.
We're gonna have a hotel party.
We should do. We should make a post in group therapy. Maybe a week or two. I guess that's now. Before we head out.
Now. Stop the podcast.
That is just who all from group therapy is going to be there and try to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
And obviously anybody who's going to we're gonna be around all day. We're gonna be. It's gonna be good. I'm very excited.
We'll have a pre-breakfast.
And. What'd you say?
I said we'll have a pre-breakfast meetup.
Ooh. From what we know, the
happen.
breakfast is going to be at 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. So knowing us, we're going to get there at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to be first.
We got to be first.
We'll just be handing out Cliff
in the
bars.
shuffle. So yeah, it's going to be good. I'm very excited. There hasn't been a whole lot of new announcements. We had our interview with Lainey Sarum from Wizard a couple weeks ago. Not a whole lot of new information since then. I know that they talked about there was going to be a video that's coming out that kind of explains more details about the event. We did get a map. So thank you to...
As a fan of maps, I will say that this was one of the best maps I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because we're on it.
Exactly.
We are on it.
Has nothing to do with the fact that we're in it.
It's so cute. I love it.
It was funny. So John, good friend of the podcast, John Yerkeba, who was on our... Wait a minute. Is he the 4th member?
Is he on right now?
Is he on? Hey, guys. We just hey, guys.
Hello, John.
John, top fan John Yerkeba, who was on our Avengers review last week. He is going to be a guest at Wizard World, and he's doing a lot of artwork and stuff, and you'll be able to go out and meet him and get some commissions and buy some cool shit from John. He's probably the biggest Ghostbusters fan I've ever met. Knows more about it than anyone I know. Except for he didn't know Vigo was dead. We were trying to guess new guests, and he was like, dude, what if they bring in Vigo? I was like, that would be big.
That one's not going to happen.
That's a feat.
That would be a feat. So Vigo will probably not be there, but John will be there. And it was funny. He was working on this map that kind of shows the layout of FanFest. And he was like, dude, do you have any ideas for little things I can include? I was like, oh, do I?
Yeah.
What if you had 3 stressed out podcasters doing a little selfie with Vigo? And it's in there. So it's in cool. Life.
I would have just said bounce house. So I'm glad that you went with that.
Ooh. God, what if this just it all falls apart? It's just an empty Sony lot with a Ghostbusters bounce house with Dan Aykroyd pouring vodka drinks, playing the harmonica. You know what? I would take it.
Sounds like a party to me.
So yeah, we're 30 days away.
Yeah, why not?
And I'm excited. I cannot wait to get out there and see everybody. And I mean, fuck. As stressed as I am about the autographs and the photo ops and the panels, let's not forget Jason Reitman's going to be there, and there's a really good chance that we're going to learn a lot more about this new Ghostbusters movie that starts filming in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
What's everybody's stress level about that?
Whew.
I mean, I didn't even... It's hard to even think about that this is all happening so soon. It's kind of sneaking up on us, but I wonder if we're going to get... I feel like there's going to be big casting announcements for this movie. Yeah, they're holding as much of that as it's so close. They know who's in this movie. There's no way there's not going to be a panel or something where they're just like, oh, hey, we've confirmed, this person, whether they're from the original Ghostbusters or not. Like there's been a few like weird, there's been like a couple interviews where J.K. Simmons has like been weird about Ghostbusters, leading people to believe he might be in the movie. And I hope he does. But like, what if he's there? Like, what if they bring out a couple actors, that are in the movie that we don't know, we don't know about. I think that's
there, I'm going to throw a folding chair at him.
I'm throwing a symbol at J.K. Simmons. God, now I'm like, I don't have anything Whiplash to bring and get signed.
You got a steelbook.
Jake, have you even seen Whiplash?
Dude.
I am stressed for the same reason because I hope there's announcements, but I hope that they're also like present and that they can like come out as a surprise because that would be like amazing.
If J.K. Simmons is there, I'm going to try to get a shirt made real quick that says, "Hey Jake, have you seen Whiplash?" And then I'm going to try to get a photo with him.
I want a professional photo off with J.K. Simmons where he's holding a symbol in his hand like he's about to frisbee it at me, and I'm just like ducking out of the way.
Yes.
That would be incredible. Dude. So
I'm watching that tonight.
Yeah,
love that movie.
I'm buying a symbol to bring with me.
Hey, I need some new symbols. So I do think we'll get casting announcements. I do think we'll get a title for the movie and maybe like some new teaser images, teaser poster, maybe a new sizzle trailer. They haven't started filming it yet, so like the amount of footage we see would be limited. But one thing that's kind of peculiar to me, we've been following the developments of a third, Ghostbusters movie or a new Ghostbusters movie basically our entire adult lives. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing I searched on AOL when I got it in like 97 was, will there be a Ghostbusters 3? And it was like, Dan Aykroyd says Ghostbusters 3 is coming soon. I was like, tight.
Love the internet.
That was 23 years ago. So ever since there's been rumors about Ghostbusters 3, every time there's been a new news story or a script approval or a director announced or whatever, even through Answer the Call, the first question that every single person asks and every single article says is, will Bill Murray be in this movie? And then like soon after that, somebody asks him, like he'll do an interview and somebody like, so what about this new Ghostbusters? Have you guys noticed they announced this movie in January? So we're at the 4 or 5, almost 6 month mark, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not one person has asked Bill Murray, will he be in the new Ghostbusters movie?
Right.
It's weird because it always feels like that. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm not trying to read a lot into it. Like, it could just be that Answer the Call came out and he was in it and that kind of satisfied the mainstream media who would cover, movies kind of superficially. Mm-hmm. But do you guys think he's going to be in this movie? Like, is there a chance he's at Fan Fest not like doing autographs and photo ops, but is there a chance that they announce the new cast and Bill Murray walks out? Like, I know we've talked about it, but like...
Yeah, I'm sure it's crossed everyone's mind.
I think there is a good chance of that. And even if he's not in the movie, I'm sure they're trying to get him there. Whether he shows up or not, we'll see. But I'm sure that there's some sort of attempt being made to get Bill Murray there. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that it's not just like... I think the fact that it's like, kind of a limited thing, maybe he will show up. Maybe he'll show up at only to like that panel. Maybe he won't be there hanging out all day. Maybe they'll have a panel, and if you're in that panel, Bill Murray's going to be there. Yeah. That's it. Who knows?
Similar to like how Harrison Ford dropped into Celebration, where it was just
but I think it's I don't want to say it's likely, but I think it's not beyond the realm of impossibility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like to think.
I think it's like a 50-50 shot. And I think it totally depends. I think if he's involved in the new movie in an official capacity, I think that there's a chance we'll see him at Fan Fest.
Yeah.
But they definitely are holding off on the main cast announcements until Fan Fest, right? Like, what's that crowd going to be like when they say, let's meet our new cast, and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson walk out? Like, that, even though we know they're going to be in the movie, hey, bring the tissues.
Yeah.
Folks.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be...
Dude.
Like, do not underestimate the power of Crystal Head vodka.
Bringing the boys back?
Bringing the boys back.
Boys
like,
are back in
seriously,
town?
like, I don't...
Crystal Head or not, I'm going to be freaking out. Like,
Well,
legitimately.
I hope not.
Probably. Let's all hope not because of Crystal
Keep
Head.
it away from her.
Keep it away from her.
Oh.
Oh, the
What if they...
stove was
Here's your
on.
new cast. The original King of the Ghosts.
Here he is, folks.
I think something that I don't want to bring up too much because we're talking about it in our fuck budget, but the whole like Sigourney Weaver thing, like, well, if she is in this movie, I feel like your likelihood for Bill Murray being in this movie is probably a little higher.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So listen, all that to say, we're getting excited for Fan Fest, and we're probably treading ground we've covered before. But like, how could you not be excited about?
Yeah, it's literally it's all I think about.
And I mean, also like, I'm also really excited and nervous about whether or not this Jurassic World ride is going to be open.
Oh,
Dude, hey.
Me too.
There's no way. Dude, when they say summer, that means like late August. There's no way it's going to be open in 3 weeks.
I mean, it could.
Maybe there'll be another ride where you flip that coin all episode, though. That's become my favorite thing.
I like the coin.
I saw you guys couldn't hear it. I didn't think it was bothering anybody. I'll stop.
It turns out that I heard it for the first month, but didn't know what it was. And then you were like, hey, you guys can't hear me flipping that coin. And I'm
It was like bothering.
coin.
Was it? What were you like? Was it killing you? Like, what's that sound?
Yeah.
Dude, I just love that you're Two-Face.
Yeah.
I love that you're like, luck, blind,
Stupid doodah luck. I want to have a yes have some coin. I want to release her
like a
own.
challenge coin.
Like a challenge. That's
Yeah.
a good idea. Let's do
Just do a
that.
challenge coin.
Yeah, dude.
It'd be like, answer the challenge. All right, cool. So we'll move on. FanFest is coming up. In group therapy, we'll get some threads going. Let's get some predictions. I want to know what people's predictions are for the title. I think a lot of people are just starting to lean towards Ghostbusters 3, which
I think it's going to be called Rise of the Vankmans.
Ooh, the Vankmans. I like it.
Rise of Vankmans.
And it's about all of his illegitimate children who are dead and they come back as ghosts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like it.
Love it.
Hey, I'm going to pop open my Diet Dr. Pepper here. Enjoy it.
I'm sure they're happy.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about Patreon. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Do it.
Cool. If you want to get in on Yes Have Some podcast bonus episodes, we do 2 to 3 a month, and Lord have mercy, are we having fun. You're going to have to go to patreon.com/yeshavesome, and you can sign up for $5 a month. You get immediate access to our complete archives of bonus episodes. We go in depth on movies. We have fun. It's loose. You never know where those episodes are going to go. And we, like I said, we do 2 to 3 a month, and for $5, you get complete access to the archive. And of course, every time a new episode comes out, you get to listen to it. That's what happens.
I like the YHS archives. I like to think of it like Game of Thrones, like where Sam was hanging out with like all the scrolls and stuff. Like we need someone to tend to them.
I hate Sam. I don't like that guy.
Oh.
Why?
Yeah,
Because
I like
it's
him.
like, I'm going to just go.
He's too much of a good guy.
Yeah, I'm going to read all the time. I'm going to have a kid.
You're just mad because he can get past chapter 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But do you guys ever think about what all those people on Game of Thrones smell like?
Dude, yeah.
It can't be great. Well, anyways,
Sansa smells good.
she probably does.
Yeah.
Santa Claus? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you want to get in on these bonus episodes, you're going to go to patreon.com/yeshavesome, and we really appreciate it. We love everybody. We thank you for your support. Helps us keep the lights on, pay for the equipment and the cost, the hosting, the website hosting, the podcast hosting, all that stuff. So we really appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you guys. And a little Patreon action is, if you want to get in on these Yes Have Some podcasts, you're going to go down to Patreon and those bonus episodes are going to be good. I am so excited.
I love when
I
Papa
can't
Dan
wait.
comes.
I want to quit the podcast right now and just go to Dan Aykroyd's house.
Hey, Craig, so when we meet Dan Aykroyd,
Yes.
and we're at the breakfast, I
Yes.
think you need to. I just think this will be funny. Maybe don't quite put on the like sound of the voice as much, but you should talk to Dan Aykroyd in that same like, cadence and talk to Dan Aykroyd like Dan Aykroyd talks.
So just be like, Dan, how good are these waffles?
Just like do the like fast talking and the like, just your Dan Aykroyd impression, but just don't do the like. Just don't change the way your voice sounds.
Yeah.
Like, Dan, these
And
waffles.
he'll be like,
Same intensity.
He'll be like, I like this guy.
I'm into him.
Boy, man, I haven't had a waffle like this since 1987. Let me tell you what, man. I was at a diner in Chicago, and boy, we had a good time. Okay.
Cannot wait.
Oh, man, the crystal head's going to be flowing.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Can you feel it?
I can feel it.
All right. Y'all ready to do this fuck budget?
Do it.
Yeah.
Fuck it up.
All right, here we go. It's time for the Yes Have Some Fuck budget. It is the segment where Jake and Abigail have 5 topics and 10 fuck bucks to spend. They have to allocate their fuck bucks wisely and decide how many fuck bucks they want to spend on each topic. They cannot spend. There is no fuck budget credit cards. There is no loans from the fuck bank. It's only what you got.
I've tried to get some.
I think I'm doing pretty good on this week's.
Yeah, you guys have been doing pretty good lately. It's hard. I mean,
Saving my fucks.
Sometimes it's hard, yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, but you guys ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Let's do it. And then
Let's
after
do
this,
it.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Chapter 2.
True.
All right.
Wait, I actually had a hard time with this week's fuck budget. I wanted to throw that out there.
What happened?
I had to reallocate some fucks because I splurged all on one category. Then I had to pull back a little.
What happens? We've
We'll
all
find
been
out
there.
which one.
We've all been in line at Walmart.
Yeah.
Holding 30 toys.
Yeah.
And saying, is this a good idea?
I did that today, and then I put them back because I realized I already owned all of them.
Oh.
I went to Walmart today, and it's the first time that I've seen the Godzilla stuff completely fully stocked. It was all out. There were multiples of everything, and then right beside it was the Bandai Creation Godzilla toys, which were also fully stocked. And then right beside that, they had just redone the Jurassic World section, and it was just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Just all of it fully stocked. It was great.
Dang. Yeah.
Did you cry when you saw those toys?
I cried a little bit. I put it on my story.
Oh, cool.
Glassy-eyed.
Glassy-eyed Jake crying over a goddamn Godzilla figure. I love it.
Love
All right,
it.
let's do it. First up, we have the second full trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It is the new movie in the MCU. It is the first movie since Avengers Endgame, which has been in theaters for a week and has made more money than it's about to, I think, beat Avatar. It's great. It's making all sorts of money. But the MCU has to continue, and it will with Spider-Man Far From Home. Abby, how many fucks did you give?
Yo, I give this 3 fucks. Honestly, I thought this was a really enjoyable trailer. Really enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming. I'd love to go back and revisit it soon. This trailer opens with a total bummer because all
Hold
of us
on.
just saw Endgame.
Avengers spoiler alerts
I am
coming
not
up.
going to say exactly what it is.
No, I want you to because
you
it's
do?
important for the discussion.
Well,
but
Tom Holland tells everyone as the trailer opens, hey, there's huge Endgame spoilers, so just be aware as you move forward. So there are, there's good reason to shed a tear in the opening of this trailer because you see Spider-Man Peter Parker, crying over the death of Iron Man. Huge spoiler, which I wasn't really emotionally ready for, but then the rest of the trailer is basically very lighthearted and super fun. It's kind of a long trailer, which would be my only complaint with it, but... yeah, I'm obviously very invested in Spider-Man. I like Tom Holland. I like this. I like the fact that during this trailer they mentioned the multiverse, so that kind of is exciting to think that things could open up in a different way with this movie. I thought it was a funny trailer, with the ghosting Nick Fury thing, and the last joke with what's his name with the you work for Spider-Man, then it's no, I work with Spider-Man. I thought that shit was funny. So I'd say 3 fucks to this trailer.
3 fucks. Jacob Walsh.
I also gave it 3 fucks. there's a thing that's happening. I think the trailer is fine. Like there, something I mentioned to you guys on the phone recently is that sometimes I feel like Marvel is entering the phase where they're like, our trailers don't have to be like the most amazing trailer. I don't think this is the best trailer in the world. It's fine. It gets me excited, but I'm excited because I already like Spider-Man and I already like these movies and I already like where they're going. The thing that I am most excited for that two of these fucks are directly a product of is the fact that
we're sponsored by Dr. Pepper, Spider-Man.
That we're sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
I was like, is he my boss? Do we work
I'm
for
gonna
him?
tell the truth.
Yeah, you have to.
It's the multiverse thing because that it opens up so many different possibilities for what you can do in the story, and then it also opens up your world for the rest of the MCU. There's so much, like the way the comic books work with the alternate Earths, they're all like numbered and there's different things and different versions of characters that happen on each world. And sometimes they cross over, sometimes they end up in the same. It's such, I mean, it's literally like the Spider-Man. What was the animated movie called?
Into the Spider-Verse.
In Jesus Christ, it's Spider-Verse. You know, it's like the same kind of stuff that happens in Spider-Verse, and that's very exciting to think that could be happening in the MCU now. But also, anybody who is a fan of Spider-Man or the comics or have watched the cartoons also knows that Mysterio is fucking full of shit, and he's a villain, and he's possibly lying about the whole thing. So we'll see when the movie comes out, but that is that's exciting to me. I'm ready to see it.
Yeah. I'm excited to get back into Marvel movies. Oh, I saw Mysterio on a bag of Doritos at the gas station and I wanted to get them.
Supposedly. You know he's a liar.
He's a liar though.
I'm really excited about this movie. I thought the trailer was great. I love that we're seeing the emotional impact and the aftermath of Endgame. I think when the first trailer came out, that was before Endgame was out, so there was a lot of question of like, when does this take place? Is it before, after, whatever? So obviously this is after the events of Endgame. And yeah, I agree. When you open up, listen, the Marvel Universe is going to continue to expand, the MCU. There's a lot more characters that they have access to now with the Fox deal. And yeah, bringing in the thought of a multiverse opens up, like, here's the thing. So, you know, Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy, like those movies did a really good job of introducing the cosmic elements of the Marvel comics into the MCU and making it like, you know, it is funny that we're at the point where like when you see Tony Stark interacting with Rocket Raccoon, you don't question it. Like, if that was in Iron Man 1, you'd be like, get the fuck out. What is this? Like, but we're at the point where, like,
we accept it.
We accept the cosmic elements. Yeah. We accept, you know, Captain Marvel and her powers. We accept time travel and alternate timelines and divergent timelines and, you know, all the stuff with Hank Pym and everything. So now we're getting to the point where, yeah, we're probably ready to start talking about alternate universes in or the multiverse and just be fully bought into it. And really, the possibilities are endless. One thing that stressed me out, somebody on Group Therapy brought up the fact that, do you think this will be a way for Sony to retain rights to Spider-Man and do their own Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland and get him out of the MCU? And I was just like, holy fuck, I hope not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they would do that, but I hope that's not what they're thinking.
No, I don't think so.
But, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It looks fun. It looks good. It also looks like we're possibly getting a couple other. It looks like we might be getting the Sandman and Molten Man and Hydro Man, which are just weird Spider-Man villains already, and that's what those big creatures look like. They probably are, and
I just get scared because like Spider-Man movies have this history of in the second movie introducing way too many characters.
Well, no, I think it's no. I think it's going to be like in not Far From Home, but in Homecoming, we also had the Shocker. You know, he's a main Spider-Man villain, and they I think the way they did that guy is just like his own. There were 2 shockers in that movie, and I think that's probably the way they're going to go about it. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
I think Marvel knows better.
Yeah, it was funny. There was an interview with Jon Favreau.
I was thinking of the Shockmaster. Shockmaster from wrestling.
From WCW?
Yeah.
WCW?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
That would be great if the
I wish.
Shockmaster was in there.
Cool.
Prepare to be shocked by
Craig
the
was doing a different Shocker reference, but
I mean,
continue.
it's multiverse. Anything could happen.
Yeah, true.
the Shocker is just a giant hand.
Stop it.
So listen,
You better
I'm from
stop.
the 90s. I could say things like that.
Nah.
I'm from the 90s. I act like I didn't travel.
Are you though?
I lived
No, I'm
through
from
them.
the 80s.
Therefore, I can say
listen,
that.
Listen. Here's the thing. I'm excited. I was reading this Jon Favreau interview, and he was talking about how they originally were going to introduce the Mandarin in the first Iron Man, but they didn't think people would buy it. It's just funny how far we've come. But yeah, this trailer looks great, and
That was before they completely ruined the whole Mandarin storyline. Yeah.
on the line now is Iron Man 3 writer Drew Pearce.
Bring him on. I'll tell him. I don't give a fuck.
Whoa.
Calm down.
I don't care.
I don't care. Listen, I'm excited. This movie looks great, and I can't wait to see what they do. I think Tom Holland's he's great in this role, and like it's kind of like Tobey Maguire was a really good Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was not great, but Tom Holland's really good. So it's cool. I'm excited. But cool, we can move on. That was some good stuff here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next up, our friends at Chronicle Collectibles. This weekend, we're at the Fan Expo in I think Dallas, I believe.
Yeah.
And they debuted a new product that, oh boy, I'm excited about. I really am. They debuted a couple new products, and I'm sure Jake wants to talk about some of the other ones.
Yeah.
But Abby only
The
wants
ones
to
I
talk
give a
about
fuck
this
about.
one.
Hey.
Hey!
Jake,
Yeah.
do you like animals?
I do.
Do you like Star Trek?
I do.
Well, then you should love the Star Trek cat statues from Chronicle Collectibles.
Oh, what?
These are 1/9 scale statues. You can get James T. Kirk and a host of others from the original series. They're based on some original artwork by Jenny Parks, and they're only $40. They're like 8-inch tall statues. They're really cute.
Oh.
And I want to know how many fucks you give, Jake.
I gave it 1 fuck. I think they look very cute. They're really cool. I do like Star Trek. I do like cats, but they are not something I would ever probably buy. I would maybe give it more fucks if it was like based off of the Next Generation cast. But I still don't see, like, it's still not something that I'm like, I gotta buy that. I do think they're very well done. But beyond that, I just gave it 1 fuck.
Word, dude.
Wow. Heartless.
Doesn't like
It's not
cats.
heartless. They got 1.
Heartless.
I only get 10.
Some vegan.
So stupid.
JKJ.
They almost got 0.
Bro,
Abigail,
it
how many-
almost got 5 fucks from me, and then I scratched it out and put 4 fucks. And then I scratched that out and just kept it at 3 fucks.
Wait, did you cat scratch them?
I can't scratch it.
You better bring it to the hospital and make sure it...
I will, because I know where it is. It's an urgent care. I've been there for a cat
Wait, hold on.
scratch
Whoa.
before.
The hospital's at urgent care?
No, okay. I don't go to the hospital. I go to urgent care. Are we talking about that?
Hello, we're poor.
Hey, yeah.
Which one of these statues do you like the most? I really like
I like the Scotty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is he drinking some milk?
He's drinking like Scotch milk, and I just really like the face that he's making. I obviously love these, and I need them. And I don't even like the original Star Trek as much as I prefer the Next Generation, but I think these are adorable. And it makes me want them to do other franchises like Game of Thrones and Star Wars.
That'd be great. That'd be cool.
I already was casting.
It's like it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to buy these, but I would like them to make way more of them.
Yeah. I'm both, actually. I want to buy them. I want people to buy them for me, and I want them to make more.
Hey, you know what I like? In the product detail, so it's like 1/9 scale James T. Kirk, based on the original artwork, officially licensed, part of the Star Trek Cats collection, limited edition, comes spayed and with all shots.
Wait.
So, not neutered for James T. Kirk, but spayed. Hey, these are really cute. I like these. I hope I can get my hands on a couple of these. Just putting that out into the Chronicle Collectibles universe.
Abby likes them.
While we're talking about it, Jake, talk about that Dilophosaurus.
Oh man, I don't have the complete specs in front of me, but they put out a Dilophosaur, and it has it looks so good. I was talking to Robert about it. As soon as I got the email, I texted Robert from Chronicle, and I was just like, dude, this is beautiful. It has it comes with 2 interchangeable heads with its frill out and then one without. It has a very cool base that has like the East Dock sign on it. I believe if you're like one of the first 100 orders or something like that, it also is going to have a little cryo can for the base. And it's also like, it's not like a movie specific pose or scene. It's not like the Breakout Rex where that pose, you could pause the movie on that exact pose. It's just like the Dilophosaur in all its glory. It's just such a beautiful looking figure. I love it. I don't own it. It's like they have put out so many Jurassic Park things that it's like you really have to pick and choose, especially the ones that are a little more expensive. And I was like, am I buying this Dilophosaur? It looks so good.
Yeah. 16
inches tall, 19 inches long. It's a 1/4 scale, and it is pricey. It's $899.99. But what I love I want to give a major shout out to Chronicle Collectibles, because there's a lot of high end collectible companies. This is what I love about Chronicle. They offer amazing payment plans. Where you could do a 10 or 11 month payment plan, pay $100 a month, and by the time it's paid off, because it doesn't ship till next year, so there's really no reason.
That's exactly what I did when I got my Breakout Rex. That thing was pretty expensive, but there was no way. I was like, I have to own that, and if it wasn't for that payment plan, then I wouldn't be staring at it right now.
Yeah.
But the other thing I love about Chronicle is that, unlike some high end companies that we're not going to name, they actually ship you your stuff when you buy it.
That's a good thing for a company to do.
It's not just one company that's shady about a lot of these high-end collectible companies. Like, people will literally wait years to receive their items. Chronicle Collectibles has made the most elite line of Jurassic Park collectibles ever in existence, and they're continuing to release amazing stuff. I love all of their stuff. We reviewed those John Wick coins that we got a couple months ago.
Yeah.
They've got the Ghostbusters Terror Dog. Like, it's an unbelievable company. So definitely check out Chronicle Collectibles. And listen, this is not a paid advertisement. I'm passionate about people. They're clearly passionate about what they do and the products they put out.
Yeah.
When we had them on our show and talked about it, and like we've talked to Robert, who works at Chronicle a decent amount, like, they really, like, they're collectors.
Yeah.
They're not just trying to like they're actually collectors. They know what the collectors want. So I can't stress enough how amazing their stuff is. Abby, you getting these cat statues?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I really want a have some cat statue collection one day too. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
All right.
Somebody make us cat statue.
Please.
All right. Y'all ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. So, a couple weeks ago, Production Weekly, which is the weekly trade that goes out for all of the new Hollywood productions that are happening, lists their casts, production crew, things like that. It's a very official source. Not that this was officially confirmed, but we didn't talk about it at the time. We had a lot going on. Sigourney Weaver was listed for Ghostbusters 3, working title Rust City, as one of the cast members, alongside Finn Wolfhard and Carrie Coon. Some sources came out and said it wasn't accurate. Some sources say, no, it's Production Weekly. Whatever. We're not here to talk about the legitimacy of whether or not Sigourney Weaver is going to be in the new movie, because frankly, we'll know one way or another soon enough. I think because it happened to pop into Production Weekly, it at least lends a little bit more. It piques my interest a little bit more than just some like random Twitter saying, "Hey, Sigourney Weaver's gonna be in the new Ghostbusters." But we talk about the original cast returning. We talk about Dan Aykroyd a lot. We talk about Ernie Hudson. We talk about Rick Moranis. We talk about Bill Murray. Let's talk about Sigourney Weaver. Abigail Gardner, how many fucks do you allocate to the possibility of Sigourney Weaver returning in the new Ghostbusters movie?
Dude, I'm giving this 3 fucks. I feel like as I'm looking at this picture of Sigourney Weaver in Ghostbusters, and as I'm rereading this article, I'm kind of thinking that I should have given it more fucks, but I think 3 is sufficient because it's not solid fact yet. I'm really glad that it's coming from a respected source. I think that's like, that gives me much more hope, but to have her back in the Ghostbusters universe and to have her in this movie, I think it's really, really exciting. My mind would go to, there's probably some sort of a lineage or relation to her and Carrie Coon's character. There's kind of a resemblance between the two of them. So that would be really awesome. Just to see her in the film would be fantastic. To see her at Fan Fest would be even better. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about this.
Jacob Walsh.
I also gave it 3 fucks. Listen, I think it was a mistake that it ended up online. I think that it's probably true, and I think that we're probably going to get that official word at FanFest. It is literally what we were just talking about. Is what, like, it's in them. It's a month from now, and they're going to be announcing cast there. The fact that this wound up on whatever website was probably an accident, because they were probably like, hey, let's save it for FanFest. Even if, whether she's there or not, I feel like it's going to be officially announced there. I think it's great that they bring her back, and it also, like we were just talking about Bill Murray, I think it kind of opens the door a little bit and makes me believe a little more that it's possible that Bill Murray could end up in this movie, because doesn't it just seem weird to have Dana without Bill Murray at this point, like Dana without Peter? It just seems like,
yeah, it would. I'm
sure it could go. I'm not saying it can't be done or that it wouldn't still be good, but it just seems like, well, those two together are among the great reasons that the first 2 films work. The first in particular is that those 2 are pretty great together, and they're really fun to watch. So
yeah, and I think, like, because we know that, so the only information we have about the new movie is that this family moves back to a small town and they have a mysterious connection to the original Ghostbusters. Well, that could mean a million things, but
yeah,
I think everybody's mind goes to, they're related to Ray or they're related to Egon, but like the first movie was essentially about a possessed building that took over its tenants. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of way to do lineage here. Dana is an extremely important character in both of the first Ghostbusters movies. The first movie, she's the first client, and she becomes, possessed, and you guys have seen it. I don't need to explain the plot.
Then what happens?
Okay, the second movie, listen. Okay, here's what it is. It's 5 years later. She's pushing this baby, right? And I'm like, whose baby is this? Okay?
Yeah. Who's the baby?
Whose baby is that? Is that the Stiff's baby or is that Bill Murray's baby?
Yeah.
And then the baby's like going down crazy in the streets. Listen.
I thought you were going to do an impression of the baby talking.
And the baby's like, Mom, help.
Mom!
And the other guy's like, I'm the building superintendent, not the doorman. What an asshole.
What a jerk, right?
Yeah.
It never dawned on me. Somebody was talking about recently how that was the first instance of the movie of like, these New Yorkers are full of negativity.
Yeah. It's pretty, like, it's one of those things where when you're younger, you might not get it, but when you watch that now and you realize that that's what the whole movie is about, is how negative people are becoming because of what's happening.
Yeah.
You see it immediately from the start. They have instances of it.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just deep dive on Ghostbusters 2.
Well, when you
good, because we've tried.
How about the couple who thinks that they're going to therapy and they're just screaming at each other?
Yeah.
well, got to turn that heat up a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that couple.
I always wondered what is the end result? Like at the end, Egon just walks in. He's like, "Just kidding. There's no therapy."
I'm always like, who would wait for that long?
Dude,
I would have been out of there. I would have been out of there.
Yeah.
Without iPhones? What the fuck are they doing? Of course they're yelling at each other.
Okay,
like that fucking
here's a situation.
Here, yeah.
You think you're going to marital counseling. Mm-hmm. You're waiting an hour. It's hot. You're screaming at each other.
Yeah, you already don't want to be there.
And at the end, that famous Ghostbuster walks in. It is like, there's no therapy here. We were doing an experiment on you. I feel like you would be so upset.
Are they paying him, or do you think Egon's going to cut him a check?
Oh, see, these are the questions that need to be answered, folks. Mm-hmm. This is why we should be doing the Ghostbusters 2 commentary.
Now I have my question for Fan Fest.
Could you imagine our Ghostbusters 2 comments? God, what is wrong with these people? Why are they screaming at each other? All right, cool. So yeah, what were we talking about?
Sigourney Weaver.
Oh yeah, Sigourney Weaver. I think she's as an important piece of the puzzle as any of the original characters. I would say even more so than Louis Tully. Although I would absolutely love to see Rick Moranis in this movie. I think Dana is a key piece of the Ghostbusters puzzle, and I really hope that she's in the movie. There's no reason to think that she wouldn't be, except for the 10 Avatar movies she's filming.
Jesus Christ.
Which we're about to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
Any more on Sigourney Weaver before we move on?
No.
That's it.
All right, next up. Disney has released their entire, or their most current up-to-date movie schedule through 2027. There is a lot of movies, including live-action Marvel, obviously live-action Disney, like 10 Avatars or something. How many Avatars are on this list? 5? 4? I don't... Okay.
Too many.
But the big news was that there's going to be a 3-year break after The Rise of Skywalker, and then a new set of 3 Star Wars movies will start in 2022. No word on if that is one trilogy of movies or what those movies are going to be. But when it comes to the Disney release schedule, the new Star Wars release dates, and all the Avatar movies, and the Bob's Burgers movie, which will hit a summer 2020, Abigail Gardner, how many fucks do you give?
Dude, I give this 1 fuck, because I really only have 1 fuck left to give. But Bob's Burger movie, was that inside this article?
It's probably buried in there. It comes out a week after Ghostbusters next summer.
Well, shit, dude. I thought I read the whole thing. Reading about Avatar, I have 0 fucks to give towards Avatar. I do care about the trilogy or whatever it is, the 3 movies that are coming out after Rise of Skywalker. That I'm very interested in. So my 1 fuck is allocated towards that and the Bob's Burger movie because I love Bob's Burgers. And also, I love the term the Christmas corridor, which I read in this article, which is apparently that like little window of time. I'm looking forward to more Star Wars movies, and I care, but I don't, these, when it comes to like release times and this kind of stuff, it's not necessarily like the most interesting thing to me, so I give it 1 fuck.
All right, Jacob Walsh.
I agree exactly with everything Abby just said. I also only gave it 1 fuck, and it is, I have too much energy focused on Rise of Skywalker right now that I can't like. Yeah, it's definitely exciting that we know we're going to get more Star Wars movies, but like who didn't think we were going to get more Star Wars movies? No matter what they're about, they could be anything. They cocould be a fucking sequel to Solo. Who knows? It could be good. It could be bad. I'm excited they're coming. Fuck Avatar. I don't ever want to see another Avatar movie. But I just can't say anything else that Abby didn't just say. It's not as like when it's just years down the road, it's like, oh yeah, well of course we're going to get Star Wars movies. I can't get too worked up about it.
So I was wrong. I said I thought they were going to take a 2-year break because remember, as recently as a year ago, the plan was to have multiple Star Wars movies per year, and I still think they could do that. I just don't think
they could. They just didn't. They could. They thought their first run at it just kind of didn't work.
But
and I think maybe it scared them a little bit.
Yeah, so it's a 3-year hiatus, which I think is good. I mean, it sucks because it's a really long time, but like if you think about it, the Jurassic World movies are 3 years apart. Like it's not uncommon for
a lot of movies are. Yeah.
What I'm interested in trying to figure out is, I do not think that I doubt that they're going to simultaneously release 2 different trilogies. Because because we know Rian Johnson is still working on a trilogy, and we know that the Game of Thrones dudes, D.B. Weiss and what's his name, David Benioff, are creating what is rumored to be the Old Republic trilogy. I kind of hope that's what these 3 are. Like, I think it would be really cool if there was just like, this is a new Star Wars trilogy. It takes place thousands of years before the Skywalker trilogy, and it's all new characters and all new lore. It's just something to get really invested in.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to see something like that as opposed to a bunch of characters we were already familiar with. I think, like, man, that'd be great if maybe it had a little more of the Rogue One kind of, like, Rogue One still felt like Star Wars enough to be like, this is a Star Wars movie, but it also felt different enough to, just feel kind of fresh. And it would be great, especially like if they're going to do Old Republic stuff. I feel like it can be a little, I don't want to say darker, but it could definitely be maybe in a different. I don't know.
I think so too. I think that by doing a new trilogy that's not directly connected to, because I think they're going to really lean heavily on the Disney Plus shows. Like, we know that Mandalorian's going to be on there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They announced Cassian Andor from Rogue One is getting his own show. There's the rumor that Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor might get a 6-part series. There was a rumor that Rose might get her own show. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think there's a lot of ways to explore like those individual characters and timelines close to the original trilogy. But I kind of like the idea of doing something completely new and different and just seeing what they can do with it. But what's interesting is if it's just going to be one Star Wars movie every 2 years, starting three years from now, where does that leave the Rian Johnson trilogy? Or is that going to be also announced and they're going to alternate every other year?
I think it's probably safe to say that maybe that stuff can easily just get added. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Maybe right now it's too uncertain of where it's going to land for them to be putting it on the list, but maybe they know, like, hey, there's going to be a couple more added here.
Yeah.
Right.
Rogue One was kind of coming out like in between a major trilogy.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I have a feeling with Star Wars Celebration being back next summer, we will be learning more very soon.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. Last but not least, we did not talk about it
most important for last. Yep.
Most important.
Definitely.
Sega. Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, is a thing, and there's a trailer, and Jim Carrey's in it, and
Teddy's in it from Westworld.
Yeah. I don't care about this. Even if it looked great, like, I don't care about this. I'm assuming neither one of you gave any fucks.
0 fucks.
But since we've all seen, Jake, did you give any fucks?
No.
Okay, so let's just talk about it.
I almost did. I almost gave this 1 fuck, but I didn't. But the only reason I almost did is because it almost feel like watching this trailer. So this fucking movie looks bad. All around it looks bad. But there's part of me that is like, hey, look at Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey again.
Jake,
like, it's kind of like, I don't know what the whole movie's going to be like, but I get a tiny bit of like old Jim Carrey out of that. And that's the only thing that is, to me, like, worth seeing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't it still didn't get a fuck from me, because it's still, even though you're like watching it and you're like, oh, look, it looks like he's trying to be silly and stuff. It also wasn't good. So it's like, well, man, it's like, I don't know. There wasn't anything where I'm like, that's funny,
Yeah. It doesn't look like anything to me. That's how I felt. I agree with you, Jake. I gave this 0 fucks. It looks so bad. So embarrassing.
Yeah,
but also, it seems like a Jim Carrey return to form, like in a weird way. He seems like the Riddler, like he's doing his old act, and I like that. I feel like this Sonic movie is like destined to end up on a YHS bonus episode in like 10 years.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to watch it if we don't watch it now. And also the Gangster's Paradise loop that they keep playing without any of the words.
It's so bad.
It's so bad and weird and disjointed.
Like, the stuff that Jim Carrey's doing, Jake, I got kind of some of those same vibes, but I was also like, I'm not laughing though.
There's
Yeah,
one scene
exactly.
that's really long.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, he's kind of doing like an Ace Ventura thing, but it's not funny. So everybody's seen the trailer. It looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
They announced after the backlash. The internet said, no, that is not my Sonic.
No, thank you.
And so everybody said Sonic looked really bad. Listen, Sonic kind of didn't really look like Sonic, but to me, that was the least offensive thing about this trailer. But they came out, the director came out and said they've listened to the feedback and they're now redesigning Sonic. So my question is, does Sonic being updated to look like Sonic, is that the most insane thing you've ever heard? That they're after the first trailer came out, they're going to completely redesign the character. And B, does that make the movie possibly? Is there any does that make one more person go and see it?
No, I think so. My secret wish is that they redesign Sonic and he somehow looks worse.
Me too.
I want like an even bigger backlash. To the point where they're just like, well, fuck it. We're just putting a pixelated ripping it straight from the original Sega game. No, it's not going to change anything about the movie. It's like the movie is going to be, if the movie's bad, it's going to be bad no matter what. It's like, it's weird that we now live in an age where backlash can be so bad that it's making the filmmakers be like, all right, we better change it.
It's such a fake, yeah, it seems bad when you're on Twitter and then you go outside, find 100 random people in
nobody cares.
You'd be like,
Dude.
what do you think of Sonic? They'll be like, this restaurant, the Tater Tots
No,
place.
I had someone.
Yeah, but you know what?
Hey,
but also, Sonic looks really stupid.
Yeah,
He looks really bad. He does look really bad, and what I think the worst part is the fact that Detective Pikachu is coming out, and it is like full. It is full of Nintendo characters that look really good in this. They all look, even though they're silly and they're very weird looking, they were able to adapt them from the video game. They all look pretty accurate from my Pokemon knowledge. They all look really good, especially Pikachu. And it's like, well, how come they can do it, but you can't fucking, Sonic isn't any, it's not like he's a design mystery where it's like, oh, we got to make sure we get it right. Just fucking make it look like Sonic.
Yeah.
It's weird.
He's like the...
I'm done.
Thank you.
0 fucks.
I like it. He's like the weird carnival version or the flea market knockoff, Dishy instead of Disney.
He's got a weird human body. His body is I don't know.
You know what though? I hate that people are like, this movie's made for kids. It's not made for you. Fuck that. There's plenty of movies that are made for kids that are amazing, that look great, and that are funny. I don't believe in that whole thing. It's dumbed down because it's not 1991 anymore.
Who's Detective Pikachu made for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Is that for Tarantino fans? Detective Pikachu comes roaring into theaters this weekend. Fuck off. Whew. Hey, I'm still seeing it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sonic and Detective Pikachu. Out? Yeah, I want to see them all.
Well, now that they're redesigning,
Pikachu comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, Pikachu's out.
Oh shit.
Well, that was some good fuck budgeting. So what we're gonna do now is swing on over to the future, and we're gonna review this It Chapter 2 trailer, and then we'll wrap it up from there. You guys ready?
That's right.
Snap.
Oh yeah, snap us over.
That's what I was doing.
I heard.
Did you snap?
I did it, but I did it in the middle of you talking.
So you have to.
I did it, and I was like, man, I wonder if they're gonna know what I'm doing.
I'm being dusted right now.
Drum roll.
Hi, everybody.
There goes the table.
We are back.
There goes the Dr. Pepper.
We are going to be reviewing the brand new trailer for It Chapter 2. It was just released today. This episode is jam-packed with lots of stuff, but we could not have an episode this week where we did not talk about It Chapter 2. And in fact, I would go as far as saying that besides Ghostbusters and possibly Star Wars, It is the most popular topic of conversation in Yes Have Some Group Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially today it is.
Yeah, kind of a big day.
So what happened was, and this happens a lot, is that the trailer dropped and like 3 people immediately posted it in group therapy. And then a bunch of other people were like, oh, that's funny. And then everybody started posting it.
Just kept doing it as a joke, yeah. And now it's at the point where I'm like, well, cool. Do we go through and delete some of these so like the feed is not just this trailer, but like I'm lazy.
But also, it's okay. We'll watch the trailer.
I like that the members of Yes Have Some Group Therapy are smart enough to realize that it was funny and silly, and that they just kind of like. I think at one point even Ray Esposito from Ghostbusters Universe News was like, "Hey, could somebody post the link to the It trailer?" And John Cameron was like, "I'm on it, dude."
Yes. We're like very positive trolls.
Positive trolls, positive assholes. That's what I always say about Yes Have Some Group Therapy. Okay, cool. So we're gonna talk about the trailer. Programming note. Abigail did a live trailer reaction video you can find on our YouTube channel exclusively. And
that's why I didn't see any of the posts in group therapy, because I actually like silenced my text conversation with both of you guys and hid the alerts because I didn't want to see anything. And then I like posted myself up in the toy room and filmed it. So
there you go. So if you want to check that out after you listen to this, it's a lot of fun. There's some curse words.
Yeah, there's a lot of curse words. You know what? There's more than I anticipated.
Is that allowed?
Whenever I sit down, I don't anticipate that many swear words, and I always talk about Answer the Call at some point. I didn't talk about Answer the Call, though, in the trailer review, so check it out.
So here we go. Jake, Abigail, you... I come to this movie in a much different place than either of you do. Shocking news, I haven't read the book.
No. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I thought this was a breeze. I thought you just, knocked this one out.
You gotta get through Eyes of the Dragon first.
Hey, I will tell you, listen, if you're, I don't know, I know you're not like a big, book reader, but I don't know as far as like audiobooks, if that's something you're into, but the audiobook of this is very, very good. The guy who reads it, I'm forgetting his name, which is awful, but he plays Jack Torrance in the TV version of The Shining. And even though that version of The Shining is not the greatest, he's great in it. He does a really, really good read through, and he does really well with all the voices. His Pennywise voice is really cool. It is 45 hours long. Nope, that's not it.
Okay, I tried.
But
he did.
It is great.
Okay.
You shouting our names?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep trying.
Steph Curry.
James.
Stephen Crane. Okay.
Okay.
No, but it is Stephen. It's Stephen Weber.
Stephen Weber.
It's Webster from the television show Webster.
So you know it's good.
Okay, so the trailer came out today. I really love the first movie. We actually rewatched it last night, at least most of it, and I do really think it's a very well done movie. It's fun, it's scary, all the kids are great. I'm definitely anticipating this movie, but my excitement level for it is kind of like it is for a lot of movies, where it's like, yeah, I'm really excited to see it, but I'm not necessarily foaming at the mouth. Having said that, I'm going to turn it over to Jake.
Okay.
You are the Stephen King Renaissance man. I don't know what that means, but that's your new nickname. Let's get a shirt, a little meme going.
Can we call up Dragon Con and have them edit my my bio?
Yes.
To say that.
Stephen King Renaissance. So what'd you think, man? What was your reaction? This is our first footage that we've seen.
Yeah.
And we're about 6 months away. What'd you think, man?
I have a couple. I feel almost a little torn because everything that's in the trailer I think looks good, but I don't think it's a great trailer. Dude, I'm thinking back to like the first trailer for the first chapter where it starts off with this like beautiful music and it's like Bill's, folding the boat and we see pieces of each scene. We have Ben doing that like voiceover talking about it, and in this trailer it's like they give us a full scene right off the bat, which I think 90% of that scene looks amazing. I hate that I already have seen that whole scene. I feel like that's something I would have liked to seen in the context of the rest of the movie. But then the last less than a minute, it's 3 minutes long, over 2 minutes is the Mrs. Kirsch scene. The last like 50 seconds is just it's just jump cuts. It's so quick. There's there's like 2 lines of dialogue, and it's just like the Losers Club is here, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, we got shots of things. I don't think that's the greatest way to make a trailer. But I mean, there's nothing that I'm like, I didn't see anything and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. That looks dumb. This looks dumb. I don't recognize any of that as scenes from the book, except for a few small things. And that's always like disconcerting. But the first movie was kind of like that too. It's literally 50 seconds of just quick cuts. So it's really hard to be like, oh, that's this scene, or that's like they're doing this. Overall, I think it looks good. I think it's not the greatest trailer.
Word.
Abigail.
I mean, I literally concur with Jake pretty much across the board. Although you may not be able to tell by my reaction video because I was like so amped. It's hard not to be amped when you're like watching something that you're anticipating for the first time. But when I'm coming down from the trailer and when I'm thinking about it, I was excited to see the Mrs. Kirsch scene because it is in the book, and that is cool and comforting, but I, just like Jake, kind of wish that they had kept that as something that I could have enjoyed while watching the movie in the theater for the first time. It's also just it's a very long scene, so I think overall it kind of makes the trailer a little uneven, and I think that it's not the best trailer, but I think it looks like it's going to be a fantastic movie, and even like possibly, well, I won't say better than the first one, but I'm very excited about it, and those little clips that we saw at the end got me very, very amped. I think that the scene with Mrs. Kirsch has a lot of tension. I think that it gives me hope for the movie and makes me feel confident in it. But I also, just like Jake, was kind of irked by the fact that I didn't want to see a whole entire scene in a trailer, honestly. But I'm still excited for the movie. I think it could have been diced up a little differently.
Yeah, it was interesting. I kind of realized like 30 seconds in, I was like, oh, it didn't really feel... I will give this credit, I'll give the trailer some credit in the fact that it didn't really feel like most modern trailers. It felt more like footage they would show at like a convention or something.
Yeah.
Where
like you're getting a whole scene, yeah.
But aesthetically, the movie looks like it's right in line with the first one as far as like what the tone of the movie is going to be. I think it's going to be really hard to top the first movie for a couple reasons. One is those, like, Jake, when's the last time you watched the first It Chapter 1?
Probably it's been a good little bit. I think it was probably around the time I went to the filming locations, which was
it's almost a year ago.
I guess about a year ago, yeah.
So when in rewatching it, like the kids, that cast, their chemistry, they're
great.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
Like they're literally like it's better than Stranger Things. They all have comedic timing, and there's a believability factor of like what they're going through is traumatic, but they're still kids, so they're seeing it through like the lens of a child, and so I think it's going to be really hard to match that. Obviously, I think the kids are going to be in this movie a little bit, but it's going to be mostly the adults. But I have this feeling that there's going to be like, did you guys get the vibe that they're going to like try to expand on Pennywise's like origins or his backstory a little bit? And I'm coming this from a person, I don't like all the cutscenes, I literally was like, oh, that's all from the book. And you guys are like, no, a lot of that's not from the book. So maybe so we have the whole scene where what's the Mrs. Kirsch?
Kirsch.
That whole scene. And then it kind of does like teaser trailer territory where it goes to jump cuts and you don't really see a lot, which I used to be like the kind of person who would watch every trailer, like 10 trailers for a movie. But these days, I'm finding myself way more satisfied with movies, not really seeing anything.
Yeah, that's the way to go, I think.
So, like with Avengers, I didn't watch anything after the first trailer, and I really liked Avengers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like correlation causation, but as far as I really like Jessica Chastain. I've always really liked her. I think she's believable as Bev Marsh. There's no evidence that tells me that she won't do a great job.
Yeah.
But once it gets away from that scene, well, first of all, what we did see in that scene, is that pretty accurate to what's in the book? Like that scene in the book? And also my question is, like, do we think that scene's like early on in the movie? Obviously it's like right when
it
she
has
comes
to
back.
be. Isn't it, Jake? Isn't it?
No, I mean, it's a little...
In the book, isn't it the first part of the first chapter from the second part?
No.
I'd have to go back and look.
It's going to be... The movie's going to... So the way the book and kind of the way the miniseries is when it gets to the second part, you first have an incident where Pennywise comes back. So I'm assuming that the opening of this movie will be some sort of kill. In the book, it is the Adrian Mellon under the bridge thing, which they have said is like they cast Adrian Mellon. That's happening in some shape or form in this movie. So I imagine the movie's going to open with that, and then it goes to Mike, learning of it and being like, oh, okay, Pennywise is back. And then he calls everybody, all the losers remember what happens. And then they all come to town. And as all of them come to town, they all have an experience. And that's Bev's first experience when she comes back into town. So, I mean, it will be closer to the beginning of the movie. It's not going to be like an opening kind of thing.
Yeah.
Craig, I'm a little, I want you to talk more about why you think we're getting like an origin.
Well, so from what I know in the book, like I know that we know the basics of Pennywise's origin, right? Like ancient creature. Oh, there's a cat appearing on the podcast. Ancient creature, haunts Derry, comes every 27 years, that whole thing. But like just the way, like when Mrs. Hofstetter, what's her name?
Yeah, Kirsch.
Yeah, Mrs. Kirsch. Sorry, who's Hofstetter?
Hofstetter.
Oh, Hofstetter.
Patrick.
Hey, is he still missing?
Patrick.
They're not gonna find him.
He's gone.
When they showed the picture, she's like, "Oh, my dad was in the circus," and I was like, I think it would be too obvious to like give like, I don't know. Well, it just felt like
that is okay. I can see where someone could be like, "Oh, look, there's Pennywise as a human," but that's all just complete bullshit because Kirsch is Pennywise. Like that's not a woman named Miss Kirsch who is the daughter. That literally is Pennywise just fucking with Beverly. Like she's talking to Pennywise that entire time. That I think that picture on the wall is just a weird little creepy thing. I think they liked in the first movie being able to see those like photos of him, and we will probably get a little more of ancient Pennywise, but I don't think we're gonna get anything that's like, well, he was a man back in the day. They have Andy Muschietti has come forward saying they have the smoke hole scene in this movie.
Oh shit! Really? I didn't know that.
They have filmed that in some sort of way. In the book, the smoke hole is the kids learn that like the
origin story.
Yeah. It's like an old. I don't know. It's like an Indian thing. Like they would, get in a smoke hole until they all
started tripping,
one of them
basically.
had a vision.
Yeah, exactly.
And they do this, and only 2 of the kids are able to like sit through it, and they see a vision of Pennywise landing on Earth millions of years before there's any life on the planet. They watch Pennywise come through the sky and land on Earth. And like that is about you get all that like macroverse stuff, and you hear conversations about how like metaphysical he is and how he exists in the deadlights and in here, that stuff we're not going to get, but I think we're going to get a little bit of the he landed on Earth millions of years ago. And there's a scene in the trailer. I went through and tried to like pause on every one of those little cuts, and there is a scene where they're in something that looks like his lair, but there are these big weird looking structures all over the place that almost look like it almost looks like like an impact crater or something. It looks like something hit the ground so hard that it knocked the rocks all up in the same. It's a quick shot in the trailer, but I pause on it and I'm like, well, that's either where he landed or that's his like true lair or something. But that it instantly made me think of that smoke hole scene.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, well, that makes me even more excited. I didn't know that was going to be included. That's very cool.
What's the scene where there's a quick clip, you see like Pennywise holding onto a bunch of balloons floating away, and there's like a big statue. Hey, when I saw that, I was like, guys, this looks fun. This looks like I'm gonna have some fun watching this.
This is gonna be a
Jumping
wild
around,
ride.
just flying around.
Abby,
what's in the middle of the daytime?
Abby, is that in the book?
I wouldn't. Jake, I'm gonna defer to you. I don't.
So sort of. There's a great scene in the book. It looks like what they're doing is taking the scene in the book and maybe changing it a little bit.
Yeah.
In the book, when that Paul Bunyan statue is in the first movie, it's like you can see that stage in the background. It's in that area.
Yeah, the conversation the kids are having when they're all talking about how they have interacted with Pennywise. Yeah.
When Richie comes back to Derry, he's at that location and the Paul Bunyan statue comes to life.
Yeah.
Like it comes to life and it tries to kill him, and it's Pennywise. Like it all of a sudden has like, the pom-poms on it and stuff like that. And I think this is their version of that scene, and it looks like probably the Paul Bunyan statue is not going to come to life. Like maybe Pennywise is just hanging out on top of it, which that's a little bit of a bummer because I would love to see a giant Paul Bunyan trying to kill Richie Tozier.
I mean, maybe it'll happen.
Maybe. We don't know. That's all we saw. It was 2 seconds of it. There were actually some... The very first photos we saw of filming were from that scene. There were some like behind-the-scenes photos of Pennywise standing on the shoulder of that statue holding that big thing of balloons that came out months ago, maybe a year ago at this point.
Okay. I remember that.
Yeah, but yeah, something similar to that is in the book. Yeah.
Cool. What other quick cuts do we see in the trailer? Like, is there anything that standed out?
I was gonna ask you, Jake. There's like a young female, like a young girl at the end of the trailer. Do you know who that is, or are you
young? Oh no, I don't. I don't. She's
like last cut before Pennywise's gloved hands.
She's under. They're under some bleachers.
Yeah.
I don't remember that I don't remember that in the book at all. I think that's probably just going to be a random
added something.
Yeah, just a random. I mean, like there are a lot of sections in the book where you're just like where you hear like, okay, all of these kids have died at this point. You know, there's a lot of characters that you don't learn or you don't see their deaths. You're just hearing, just like in the first movie, they're like all these kids are going missing. Right on. It's probably just it's either something I'm forgetting or it's something like that. But it does look like he's holding like one of the dead lights in his hand. Like he, at that very end, there's a light and he cups it into his hand, pulls his hand into the dark, and then he kind of uncovers it, and that's what lights his face. And I'm like, oh, is that like, it's kind of like the dead lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Also, you see Bev and Bill kissing as like kids, which is fun, and then like Bev is like in a bunch of blood, I think at one point. There's like a lot of...
she's like swimming in it.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. I like it. I forgot how much I liked Sophia Lillis watching this trailer. Like I'm excited.
She's a good actress. You know what struck me is like when we met her a couple months after it came out at that convention at Spooky Empire, like she's very young. Obviously she's a kid, but like she almost plays older than her age.
I think she does.
Like she's smart though. Like I follow her on Instagram. I think that she's like a very intellectual, gifted person. So I have a feeling that like she can do that, and she probably is
like,
actually younger.
She comes off as like she's like when being around her in person, I was like, oh, she's like 12. But in the first I'm like, she's like 17 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, all those kids are great actors, and I do hope that we see a lot of them. The trailer did not, besides Jessica Chastain, really did not highlight. Well, there's a little bit of oh gosh,
fucking Stan's not in the trailer at all. But
Yeah.
Hey.
Spoilers. Not in the second half.
Poor Stan.
Poor Stan.
See, I know something.
Love Stan. Respect him. OCD.
James McAvoy, he's in it. Obviously, he's playing Bill, and then Bill Hader is playing Richie Tozier. And from the clip we saw, they did a pretty good job of getting Bill Hader to look like an adult Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, for sure.
I do like the idea that, like, that's what he looked like as a child. He's going to have the exact same haircut 30 years later.
Yeah, he's wearing the same clothes, basically.
Wait a minute.
Some people are like that, right?
Yeah, the three of us.
Yes.
Jake, go back to our episode where we reviewed the Sears Wish book, and Jake's like, I would do anything to wear that Beetlejuice sweatsuit.
That purple Donatello matching two-piece sweatsuit. I do.
So there's not really a whole lot to break down. The cuts are really quick, and mainly it's that one scene. So I kind of, like, I'm a little bit torn. I feel like I would be interested to know why they decided to do the trailer like that, because it's
weird pacing, because it's a very tense, slow scene, which it should be. If you're watching it in the movie, you should be on edge and know that something weird's going to happen. But to watch all of that play out and have like a pause between Bev and Mrs. Kirsch when they're talking, it actually kind of messes with the pace of the trailer, in my opinion, and it makes for a weird feel at the end of it.
I think it probably has a few. I think there's probably one of the reasons is that they probably just couldn't decide if they wanted to just release that clip. They probably were really happy with the way that.
It's a great clip. It's gonna be a great scene in the movie for sure.
But there's also the fact that this is kind of like a part two. It's like a second half to a story.
Right.
So I'm wondering if maybe they were like, well, it doesn't need to be a traditional trailer because everybody already knows, what the deal is. Maybe that's part of it. I'm assuming that, within, the next few months, we're just going to get a normal trailer. We'll get like a regular trailer with maybe more actual footage. There are some other cuts in this. I'm trying to look through some of these screenshots right now. It does show them in the Chinese restaurant, which is in the book and the miniseries.
Yeah. When I saw that scene, by the way, Jake, I was like, oh my God, is that the same Chinese restaurant they used in Answer the Call? It's not. I don't think.
It's not. It's in Canada.
Okay.
When I was in Canada, we tried to go to this Chinese restaurant, but it's not in the same town. It's like kind of out of the way. So I wasn't able to visit, but that's a big fun scene in the book.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorites.
God, there was something else. There is a quick shot of the bridge, which may or may not be from the Adrian Mellon scene. There's a shot that is very weird that looks like Mike, and he is kind of looking. He's in a building that has been burned down. He's looking up, and like Pennywise is like jumping. He's like defying gravity and jumping.
It's like MC Escher. Weird shit.
And I wonder, like, there are three things that building can be. It's either Mike's old, in the first movie they kind of changed it to where his family died in a fire. Mm-hmm. It's either his house, his old house. Mm-hmm. It could possibly be the black spot.
Yeah.
Or it's the ironworks that exploded. I think it's probably his old house. That's probably his, something he encounters while, visiting where he used to live or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's gonna be good. Like the first one made a ton of money, and I wonder if, like, how these movie studios are, like, is it going to be like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing where after this one comes out, they're going to be like, okay, how do we keep this franchise going, and just start making shit up? Mm-hmm. And or like the Pennywise stories, a new show on CBS All Access where
Turtles origin story. It's a spin-off.
Hey, the possibilities are endless. No, I'm excited. It was cool. I like those.
Why does there only have to be 7 losers,
Losers
what if we were like all losers?
I mean, they could do, like, if he's been, around for, eternity, basically. I guess they could do like a prequel where it's like some people back in the 30s seven kids back in the 30s are trying to fight him.
They get the Game of Thrones people to do like
So
an ancient times one with like King Arthur and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Arya comes out of nowhere.
Dude, fuck.
Wait, you serious about that?
You serious, Mark?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna make a lot of money. I think people. I just don't see them. Andy Muschietti knows what he's doing. Like, it is interesting. Well, I was thinking about that movie Mama he did, and like when I was watching like the leper scene yesterday and the painting, like he's got a style. He's got a look that he goes for, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, I'm excited about this movie. It'll be one of my more anticipated movies of the fall for sure. This is the second trailer in a couple weeks that has been like nobody's ever really gone.
You're right.
Yeah.
Is that a line from the book? Nobody in Derry ever really dies. Is that something?
I didn't.
I don't remember, dude.
Yeah.
It's 1,400 pages. I
know.
don't remember if that's an exact. Possibly. The thing that I think I'm excited for the most, but besides the fact that, we're probably seeing a few more things from the book, is that the second half of the book is there is a lot of like, you get those kind of like when you're watching the first half, they're kids, you get a little bit of those feelings of like kids growing up and, that kind of thing. But it's this point and I've seen, Bill Skarsgård and Andy Muschietti both kind of talk about this, is that this point in the story, like we're not kids anymore. Pennywise has kind of for all of the years that he's been around, he has never felt fear before. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's how he's defeated for the first time ever in its existence, which is like incomprehensible to humans. It has never felt fear until these 7 kids. Yeah. So at this point, when he comes back, it's not so like it's like in the first movie, you get, he's just playing with everybody. Yeah. He's just like fucking around because he thinks he can't be touched. He's just like, fuck it. And at this point, it's not quite like that anymore. And he's like, it's like the first time in this creature's life that it has had kind of like a personal vendetta towards human beings. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's food. It's like, so I don't know. I'm hoping it's gonna be even darker than the first movie's dark, but like even more so. It's like it should be like a step up.
Yeah. You just made me want to read the book again, Jake, by saying all that stuff, because I think I'm going to try. Like, that shit about, like, just the 7 kids, that being the first time that he's ever, felt fear before, that's such a great thing, because that's those kids when they got together, like, for me, the stuff I love the most is, like, their friendship and the bond of the Losers Club, and, like, how special it was for them, and how much that can get you through, like, the craziest shit ever. Like that, and I fucking love it. I can't wait. I'm gonna read it again. Very excited.
I do too, and as much as I love it, I just want to say, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say this again. Bill would never punch Richie in the face.
Oh wait, does that happen in the trailer?
No, it happened in the first movie.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, if Richie was Finn Wolfhard, he would have.
Good point.
We'll see.
Dude, we have to say nice things about Finn Wolfhard. He's family now.
Holy shit.
God, he is.
I forgot about that.
Hey, are we about to meet Finn Wolfhard? Like in 3 weeks?
I don't know. We'll see. Fan Fest is coming up.
Woo.
Well, listen. Let us know what you thought of the trailer. Hop in Group Therapy. Don't post another link to it. It's already there several times over.
We'll delete it.
But, you know what? We talked about group therapy a little bit. Abby, why don't you fill everybody in on what group therapy actually is and how people can take part?
Oh my God, it's so easy. Thank you. Group therapy is a closed group on Facebook for our listeners to discuss stuff that we talk about on here, stuff that you're stressing about in your personal life. If you are suddenly collecting something that you didn't think you would, you can post in there about it, and people will comment. And if you want to join, all you have to do is search for Yes Have Some on Facebook, scroll down, find the group therapy box. God, after all these years, I still get stressed. Then you click it.
After all these decades of running group therapy.
Group therapy's been around for 3 years, right?
No.
2 years?
Like a year and a half.
Oh my God, it's not as old as the podcast?
No.
Oh, it's like our
3
little
months
sister.
old. We just started it.
Yeah.
It's just a baby.
A child.
It's just a baby. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Children. If you want to join group therapy, just ask and then either... Why am I still... Is anyone...
Somebody.
Do I still have to do this?
Just call your mom.
Yeah, just send me a letter. Send me an email. No.
That's what we should do. We should do formal letters in the mail to request to join group therapy.
Oh my God, we're like the 501st.
It's a good idea.
And then
no.
you do a wax stamp with your house logo.
Dude.
Right.
Targaryen?
Yeah. No.
Stark?
Fuck the Targaryens.
Hufflepuff.
Yeah, that. Hufflepuff Stark.
Okay.
Much better.
God.
Way better.
Give me a fucking break. I'm a Lannister.
Dude.
Except for I don't pay my debt.
We're all Lannisters.
There's one good Lannister, though.
Oh, man. And I'm short. Listen.
Jamie's a good guy.
Is he?
Are we doing this?
He's hot.
So Abby had an idea.
He's hot, so he's good.
Listen,
good guy.
Abby had an idea of a shirt.
Listen up, John Yerkeba. This is your time to listen.
A Yes Have Some shirt. In the Game of Thrones font, it says Yes Have Some podcast. And then it's the three of us, and Abby is Arya, and I'm Tormund, and Jake's the Hound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can all be on Game of Thrones.
Yeah. You can spice it up. You can do whatever you want.
We could do like a Yes Have Some Game of Thrones crossover where it's like the coffee cup and it can say Yes Have Some.
Oh.
But be like the Game of Thrones coffee cup.
Okay.
What's the Game of Thrones coffee cup?
I don't know what that looks like.
Well, no, you know how like last week they accidentally left the coffee cup in
Controversial. Starbucks.
The Starbucks cup.
The Starbucks cup, yeah.
I like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, so what? Here's
That was
our
a
version.
bomb.
No, here's our version.
I was
like,
trying to think of my own other better.
did you guys see on that table next to Daenerys? There was a PKE meter. Somebody left it in there.
Stop. Somebody's got to go down there.
How are people not
I
like?
would.
How is it not a thing already to be photoshopping random things into that scene?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Group therapy, get on it.
Get on it, group therapy.
Get on it, y'all.
Well, listen, you can not
Put
only.
a PKE meter in there.
That's what she
Shit,
said.
fuck. I hit the table now 20 times.
What is happening? All right. This is a long episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it. You can find Yes Have Some Podcast not only on Facebook Group Therapy, but also we have our YouTube channel we talked about earlier. Search Yes Have Some on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at YHS Podcast. And of course, YHSPodcast.com. Anything else before we sign off?
Nope.
No? Cool. We'll be talking a little bit more Stephen King with a little guesty guest next week. Next week's our 150th episode.
Wow.
And then and then we'll be doing some
Better dress up.
Yeah, let's all get a big dinner.
Patreon bonus episodes will be dropping next week, and we're a couple weeks from Fan Fest, so we got a lot going on.
Whew. Yeah, stay tuned to our YouTube channel for more Fan Fest content. I got a video coming up, so stay tuned.
All right, cool. Abigail?
Yeah.
Jake?
Miss you guys. I already miss you.
All right, we'll see everybody later.
All right, bye,
Bye,
y'all.
guys.
Bye, thank you. Who am I thanking?
Just us for taking the time out on a Thursday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.